On today's episode, had Ryan come on. This was a fantastic chat, diving into the spiral and feeling and emotions and all this kind of stuff. And a couple of months ago, I was fortunate enough to do the spiral with Ryan. So Ryan's a facilitator with doing the spiral, and he does some other amazing things. So I highly suggest to check out all his social and all that, or even actually do an emotional clearing with him as well, which has had a lot of, I guess, profound effects on me this year, especially with going through, I guess, a lot of identity deaths, I would say, and then, going through the tools and, learning some of these, I guess, myself as well. And yeah, it was, being him supporting me on this journey as well this year, so it's been fantastic. Probably mumbled up my words a little bit there, but anyway, and before we jump into today's episode, I am doing Reiki and Access bars up on the sunny coast. I'm able to come to you and all that stuff. And if you wanted to book an appointment, head over to mitchellcrocker.com/services. And I think that's really it. And we can jump into today's episode. So thanks again, guys. How's it going, man?
Good, bro. Had a big day, but we're here. We're ready to go, and yeah, feeling excited. I haven't done a podcast myself or been on one for a long time, so it's good. Good to be back in the game.
Exciting, man. Yeah, the same here. Like, been a big day, like even energetically and emotionally, but yeah, excited for this. So, but yeah, so yeah, man. So a couple months ago, I did the spiral with you, the integrative warrior, which was very much a big change for me, a transformational. So many different words I could use for it, and that. And yeah, I would like to dive into that a bit in today's podcast as well. But I think before we start off with I've touched base with you and heard a bit of your story. So yeah, so we'll do the I guess quick version of how you got to where you are today and all the different stuff you learned and go from there.
Cool. uh, yeah. Well, at this point in time, I'm going through a, I guess you could say identity death and rebrand.
hmm
So it's like, well, what part of me do I want to share right now?
I feel that a lot too when it's on people ask me that question. I'm like, what part am I sharing today?
Yeah. Well, it's just, if you're committed to the work and evolving and feeling all your emotions and
mm,
transformation and just being more of yourself, it's like, well, if I share that piece, that's probably less myself than it was less myself now than it was back then. So it's okay, we'll see. But um, but yeah, so I guess yeah, you were talking about like Reiki and access bars. I haven't done access bars, but yeah, I think I first originally started my journey with Reiki. Actually, this was about four or five years ago now. So long way back, and yeah, I guess I got to a point. If I go right back to the start of my journey, in short, I got to a point in my life where I had to change in a big way, or I would end up in jail. So yeah, long story short, went through that whole experience. Completely changed my life around. I got caught with drugs, so I basically had to just go sober, otherwise I would have ended up in jail. So committed to sobriety, and then just started working on myself. Unknowingly began to become an inspiration to the people around me, and then it's like, oh, I guess I'm a coach now. All right, cool, interesting. And that just led from one space to another, like um, coming out of the court case, all sweet, like slap on the wrist. You've been a good boy. Go on now. But I guess a big piece in that, in me being able to make such big changes, is I had done some Reiki healing on myself. So I had a friend of mine who I met at a festival when I first went sober. Um, just like it was one of those people that was like I'd explain it as like a 70-year-old in a 20-year-old's body.
Mm. I love that. I love that. Yeah.
Just got like so much wisdom, and you just like look at some people and you're like, I don't know what it is about this dude, but I don't know, is different. There's
Mm.
something that I need from this guy,
Hmm.
and ended up connecting and exchanging phone numbers and whatever else, and found out that he does this Reiki healing thing. So um, did the course, and received some healing and like so much. I guess more of myself. I was like, whoa, okay, if this is real, like what else is real and what else is not. So that was kind of my first
I
awakening.
I'm gonna have to say I relate to that because at first, like, because what you get told by other people, the mainstream, right? And you get sold this story, and then you do it yourself, and you're like, man, this is more real than I guess the things we get sold in the mainstream. And like, I feel alive from doing this stuff.
100%, man. Yeah, for sure. I felt more alive than I've ever felt. Uh, Not only at the festival where I was like completely sober, and I was like, whoa, I can feel this good and not have any
Yeah.
drugs.
I was gonna say I would like to tap into that story because I've heard it and I think it's a fantastic piece to share.
Sure. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, man. So to dive deeper into that, I guess, as I shared before, I was, doing drugs, dealing, going down, I guess you could say, the wrong entrepreneurial path.
Yeah.
But still, I guess, similar values in a way where I valued freedom and, doing what I want, and, having the money and freedom to basically live a great life, and having lots of fun and all that, but not remembering too much of it.
Hmm. Been there.
So that was a part of me, as like doing drugs almost every weekend. Festivals are my thing, and always go to festivals to just get absolutely written off, and I guess, for lack of a better word, escape my reality. You know what I mean? Like I was a
Hmm.
carpenter back then, so I'm a carpenter by trade, and I guess, yeah, you get to the end of the week and you're like, all right, I'm either getting drunk or I'm getting fucked up or I'm doing this thing. It's like I got this weekend to like forget about how sad my life was.
Hmm. Right, I'll relate to this and a lot of levels.
Yeah, man. And I guess, you don't really know. Well, I didn't know that life was sad, or
Mm,
or whatever I can kind of claim that to be. Is It was just normal. We
mm,
didn't know anything else. I didn't know anything else. Like, oh, you just go to work and then you have fun on the weekends and you work for the rest of your life, and this is just it. You're a carpenter and you swing hammers all day for the rest of your life. And it's like, okay, well, I'm going to get fucked up on the weekend then.
yeah.
um, so that went on for a while, and yeah, started getting into dealing drugs and stuff because I didn't want to do carpentry anymore, and ended up getting busted, lost my license. Uh, so I moved down to Brisbane. Actually, moved down to Brisbane. The third day that I moved down to Brisbane was like kind of after the getaway from Cairns. So I was living in Cairns. I was like, all right, I should probably let go of this life and just like go somewhere else and leave my shit here. But I took my shit with me,
Hmm.
emotionally and physically in the capsule form.
Hmm. It's normally how.
um, And so yeah, like the third day into getting a new job in Brisbane, and a new life, I suppose, I got busted, and within the space of a couple of days, I had lost my job, got busted. Um, Within a couple of months after that, spent all my money, um, and lost my license. I was drinking and just doing stupid shit. I was like, all right, cool. I'm going to jail. I'm just gonna drink my sorrows away and and then drive home like a dickhead. No, actually, I didn't drive home. I didn't drive home. I thought about it, then drove a little bit, and then fell asleep while the car was parked and got busted. Dumb. Anyway, I'm going on a bit of a tangent here,
That's so good.
uh, but to fast forward, yeah, like I lost my license, lost my job, I was homeless, and there was just it was just a shit time, and after about four months or so, I had to change and really do something. Otherwise, you know, I would end up in jail. And so yeah, went sober, and the first 3 weeks into that journey, I set myself a challenge for my willpower to like go to a festival and be sober.
That is a big one, a big commitment, especially after all that.
Yeah, man. Yeah, and you know, I couldn't see it working any other way. It was like, well, if I'm
Mm,
gonna do this, if I'm gonna really do this, I'm gonna go to the one place that I always undoubtedly get written off.
mm,
um, and then yeah, I'd been doing, it was 3 weeks into that journey of sobriety and health, and I was taking these new detox supplements and products and stuff, and cleansing my body, and all these different things. And it was 3 weeks into that journey, and I went to that festival that I was talking about, and I just like being in the vibes, the music, the people, uh, and just being completely sober was such a really just an epic experience, like something I'd never experienced before. And like I actually felt higher than I'd ever felt in my whole life without drugs or alcohol.
yeah.
Yeah. And that was actually my first spiritual awakening.
Mm,
At that festival, I was just like, whoa, if I can feel this good without any of that shit, like I'm never gonna do drugs or alcohol ever again. And that was actually my decision from that festival, And yeah, and that just started like that new vibration that I felt, or experienced. I guess I could explain it as somewhat of a Kundalini awakening, or
mm.
it's just I felt like a god. What? How do I have all of this energy? This is crazy. Like, what is going on with me? Who am I? What am I? What are we? And just that kind of triggered all of my questioning that we were talking about before. Of like, okay, if I can feel this good, then I don't need that. And then what else is real? And then I met a Reiki healer, this guy that just like kind of waves his hands over my body and apparently can heal me. Like, okay, let's do it. Whatever.
It's quite like fascinating of what our bodies can do without having the outside, like I guess, helpers, and the like stage of consciousness you can reach with just like using your own resources, or even just cleansing out your body of all the toxins that's inside.
100%, bro. Yeah, it's next level, and that my as I said, my first awakening was through health. And if we look at the world right now, the
Mm,
people who are, I guess you could quote unquote, not woke
mm,
to what's actually going on, are people that are really unhealthy, and they they don't understand the food and the chemicals and how it's grown, manufactured, and processed, and all these different things. And once I start to eat healthy and get more energy and clarity, and you start to connect to higher sources of consciousness and all these different things. But if they don't, it's just cool. I'll just eat my macas every day, and this is my life,
Mm.
and feel shit all the time.
And they call it normal.
100%.
And yeah, that's like the thing that I've been thinking into lately as well. And it's just like all this stuff that's like coming up with me and doing like all this type of work and then looking in the way the world's working. And it's just like, because I see like with being a barber as well, you see it like every day and people just, it's just a normal thing to do. It's normal to feel like that. And then on some deep layer, you got to think like, it's just got to think, it's like, is there some conscious awareness that this isn't normal or like feeling like this all the time?
Mm, yeah, and there isn't.
Hmm.
You
Yeah.
know,
And then,
there isn't until there is, and
mm,
you just gotta have those moments. Like you can swear black and blue that you know eating this food is gonna make you feel better, but until you're ready to receive it and go, oh, that might make me feel better. Okay, cool.
mm.
Then it's not gonna happen.
Yeah, that's totally true. Because it's like I was listening to a video and it's just like it's someone's like, I guess consciousness isn't ready to, I guess if someone isn't on the fence, they're not ready to, you know, what's the saying? So if they're sitting on the fence, you can actually like spit facts at them and they'll actually probably jump over the fence. But if they're not even close to jumping over the fence, no matter how many facts or how good you can say you feel, they're just not ready to jump over.
Yeah, 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 100%, man. And I guess I was ready to fucking jump
Mm.
off that fence. It's like, okay, here's the fence. Here's jail. Here's me sitting on top of the fence, and here's a new life that is not jail.
Mm.
So I was just basically open to anything, like let's just do it. Let's go all the way in. Um, and and then yeah, it's like you're speaking about the scale of consciousness and different levels of consciousness as well, and I feel that's where my journey with the spiral kind of tied in, because it wasn't until about a year or maybe a couple of years after where I found like emotional clearing, the spiral, David Hawkins, the scale of consciousness, and all these different things that uh, it helped me to understand what was actually happening to me at, at that festival that day.
Mm.
I was just on a different frequency. Like my body, the detoxing, the vibe that I was in, all these different things. I was on a higher frequency, and that's just the truth of it. And then knowing the different scales of the different levels of consciousness on that scale, and the different behaviors and patterns that people get stuck in on those different levels. It's like, oh, okay, that was this level with shame. That was me. Like
Mm.
shame and guilt, and I used to do this and fuck myself up every weekend, and then feel sorry about myself for it, and then not tell anyone that I slept with this girl, because whatever story, it's just that
Mm.
kind of level that it's toxic in a way, and we just can't see past you know our own stuff. We can't see anything else.
Mm.
There's nothing. We're just in the normal state of like, oh, this is my life.
Mm.
There's nothing different. So um, and then yeah, just went down that whole route of clearing my shit. And then life changed dramatically. I manifested Emma, like all these different things started happening in my life, and it was just crazy, like what was happening. Each of the different weeks that I'd go through, um, what was coming up, or what my law of attraction was reflecting to me, So like, when we clear different emotions, or like everything in our experience, whether we like it or not, is as a result of our law of attraction.
Mm-hmm. That is so true.
Yeah, and it's it's not just thoughts. It's like, oh, I'm gonna think about this thing, and it's gonna come into my field. Like, yes, that's true to a degree, but what about all the emotional shit that's actually
Mm,
creating reality?
yeah. I think that's like the big thing a lot of people like miss. It's like what is stored in that subconscious mind, or the unconscious, or whatever you want to call it, that is actually stopping you from like the very things that you want to do, because the subconscious mind actually gets the right of say before the conscious mind does.
100%. Yeah, it's almost like instinctual in a way.
Mm-hmm.
Someone was giving me a transmission on like martial arts the other day. I think it was Daniel Cumming in a podcast that he did, and he was talking about there was this saying that if you try and analyze, like if I punch you and you analyze what your reaction is every time I'm going to hit you.
Mm,
But if you trust your instincts, there's so much more chance that you'll be able to block it or move or whatever like that. And our body, our unconscious is so instinctual.
mm.
Like, oh, this thing's happening. Oh, body does this, or I do that.
Yeah. Yeah. And like I do, yeah, 100%, man. And it's like there was a situation which I won't go into too much detail about it on here, but like that's what my body did in a certain situation. And I've realized that awareness that I haven't really transcended that part of me yet, or sat with that part, or I guess upgraded it, I would say.
Yeah.
And that's been something that I've been sitting with for the last week, doing clearings around, and holding space for it. So then next time a situation like that comes up again, that I'm on a different vibration, different level, can approach it in a different way.
Mm.
And that's what I think self-awareness is so important in those moments.
100%. 100%, man. And I guess, the self-awareness is also uh can be influenced by the
Mm-hmm.
emotional conditioning in the body as well.
Yes. Yeah, that is true.
Like, uh, I seen a post a little while back where this guy is like, I know because I know, and I trust that I know from my intuition, or I don't know exactly what it was, but then I was like, but then you got to know the difference between intuition and emotional conditioning.
Mm. That's yeah, because that's one of the dudes I look up to, Maston Kip. That's something he says, you can't really trust your intuition until you start doing trauma work and working through your trauma levels. Otherwise, your intuition's not going to be accurate, or it's going to be based from your past trauma experiences.
100%. Yeah, yeah. And I feel that there is ways that you can bypass it, like
Mm,
kinesiology and
mm,
different other ways where, which is based on the spiral
mm,
kinesiology, is like the main kind of modality or tool for clearing. Um, but I was saying I've been teaching a couple of people for the integrated leader training that's coming up
mm,
soon, and he started practicing with some clearing and stuff like that, and it's like, holy shit, man, like my worldview is completely shifted. I'm going through like so much stuff, I don't know what to do with myself, and just kind of getting a bit lost in it. And it's
mm,
like, you know even when we're doing muscle testing or using kinesiology, it's never absolute. you
mm,
know your intuition or your ability to muscle test is also uh, calibrated to truth, meaning your level of emotional conditioning in your body is going to be able to test things to a certain degree or a certain level of accuracy until you've cleared that stuff. And it's the same goes with intuition. And it is a very intuitive process as well. Like, you're using your body to tune into the other person's body, which can be, and that's, I guess, kind of what intuition is. It's like when you're not using the tools,
Mm.
when you're with someone, it's like, oh, I can feel something, and my intuition is telling me that they're angry because they're trying to punch me.
Mm. Yeah.
that's that's obvious, but like, you can feel it before things happen, and that's the intuition. But in some degree, if you go on to a deeper level as well, it's like, well, I can see this happening consciously, but has this experience been attracted to me?
Mm, that's a really big piece there.
Yeah. And and it's true. There's been so many different experiences, like everything everything that we experience in our life is from our law of attraction, our soul condition, our level of emotional conditioning, um, whatever you want to call it. And if we want to take full self responsibility of that, that's where the power comes. But it's like, oh, that happened because of this person did this, and that person was angry, and this person crashed into my car with my baby in the back. And it's like, that actually happened to me like a couple of weeks ago, and you can go into blame and be like, oh, these stupid Californian tourists don't know the road rules and just like rammed into me and blah blah blah. But it's like, well, hang on, like, why did I attract this? Why did we attract this? What,
Mm.
what fears or emotions have we not dealt with for our law of attraction to be like, hey, you got to look at this thing.
Yeah, because it's like what's the saying by Peter Crone, I really look up to. It's like life will present you with circumstances and people to reveal where you're not free.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, man. And yeah, it takes a high level of self responsibility to own that. And you know, for me as well, and for Emma and myself, it really showed us our own fear of death. And
Mm.
we traveled some big shit that week. There was suicidal thoughts. There was like my grandma passed the week on Thursday a couple of weeks ago, and there was just so much death. And we literally just got off the airport, driving home. My mum picked us up, and then poof.
Mm.
what what the hell? And then journeying what we journeyed, and realizing, yeah, it was our fear of death, our fear of losing Willow, our fear of whatever else was there around that experience. That was like, oh, okay, I'm just gonna run into you randomly. It's crazy, it's surprising, it's also not surprising, but it's mental.
It's like the law of polarities. It's like it's both at the same time. It's surprising that happened, but then when you actually sit down and reflect on it, it's like, hey, it's actually not that surprising that came up.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, 100%, man. And yeah, it's like I continuously am surprised at how not surprised I am for surprising things
Yeah,
happening.
I'm gonna have to agree with that, man, because it's like with the I'm not gonna, yeah, with the week I've had, I've sat back and thought about it. I'm like, this is why this has come up in like certain things and that, and I was like, oh, okay, this actually really makes a lot of sense because I haven't really dealt with this like properly. I've kind of skimmed over it, and now I'm like full immersed in it. I'm like, okay, now I'm dealing with it properly now,
Mm.
so then this doesn't come up again. Or a different level of it.
100%,
Mm.
100%, bro. And that's exactly what happens too. If we don't take self responsibility for it, of our law of attraction bringing us this experience or these emotions or this person that just keeps hitting us in the face, and we tell them not to, and they keep hitting us in the face. It's like, well, what have you not dealt with that's keeping on happening, or what have you not said, or what have you not healed for it to keep on happening, you know? And that's what the law of attraction will do and keep doing. It's just like the universe goes, doosh, you learnt yet? You learnt yet? You learnt yet? Oh, here's a really big one. You learnt yet? No. Oh,
It's
fuck.
what's the saying? It's like feather, bricks, and trucks.
I haven't heard that one.
So yeah, so it's like it starts with like a feather, so a little like tickle, then it comes a brick, and it's like, oh, that kind of hurt, and then it's like if you don't learn after then, the truck comes in and just knocks you right over.
Yeah, man. Yeah, it's so true, so true. Um, so yeah, I guess how we got onto that little tangent was like the clearing through the
Mm,
spiral. You know, it's
mm,
like there's different themes through the spiral. There's like worthiness and
mm,
creativity and personal power and love and openness and expression, vision, spirituality, high states of consciousness, like the whole chakra system. You know, and
mm,
what was really and I'm sure you can resonate with this as well. Like we'll be going through a specific week, whether it be worthiness or wealth or shame, guilt, or whatever it was, and it's like that week of integration. It's like, oh, here's all the places in my life where I've made decisions from not being
yeah,
worthy.
yeah. And that week, the biggest week for me was around the heart chakra, and I'd sat back and I looked at things, and I was like, holy crap, man. Because I used, post a lot about self-love, like in that. And then I realized that I'd never actually received love. So like, how could I actually, love myself if I can't let anyone in? And that was like the biggest thing with that week is like, wow. And sat back with that. And then, I guess integrated that experience as well.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, that was a big week for you actually. I
Mm.
remember
It
that.
was quite funny because I remember that week too, and everyone got sick the first 2 weeks, and then I got sick the day before the heart chakra.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, wow.
Mm,
But yeah, it's just it's crazy. Like
mm,
like I said before, I'm continuously surprised at how not surprised I am with things that happen
mm.
within the vortex of the spiral.
Yeah.
um, but yeah, do you have anything else to ask on that or?
I was gonna just for our listener for my listeners just to break down the spiral a little bit as well and through the modalities in it and the combinations and that.
Yeah, sure. So in short, I feel the spiral is probably the most potent and structured, integral modalities that are out there at the moment. And integral meaning that it focuses on the whole being. It's not just
Mm,
like, oh, let's go and open your heart, or let's work on your sexuality, or let's go and you know start calling in your guides and your intuition and whatever else. It's like, let's do all of that.
mm,
And in ways I don't feel there we can fully access our whole self unless we do that,
mm,
and the clearing on all the different levels. Like I kind of give this analogy quite a lot of like this hose with 7 golf balls in it, and if you clear one little golf ball out, the water still can't run through it. You got to do the whole lot before the energy starts actually running through your body and you can become in alignment. um and so yeah, the spiral is based on kinesiology, NLP, different ideologies, which is like spiral dynamics, and also the scale of consciousness. And so those three things just kind of merged together to create this map, this modality that is the spiral. And yeah, it's basically clearing your relationship to each of the most prominent emotions that stop us from being ourselves.
Mm.
And also, if you look at it through the scale of consciousness, it's like basically our whole being, like the chakra system, and then you've got the scale of consciousness, which have very uh, a lot of different similarities, and they just kind of piece together. So it's like, okay, well, this and this shame and guilt and dogma on the first level, that makes sense because in the base chakra, it's like worthiness,
Mm.
it's security, it's fear in a way. It's like being grounded to the earth, and then up onto the higher levels of the heart and stuff like that. So yeah, it's really about just pulling out the roots of the shit that you've not felt and not been able to feel, to allow you to feel the actual emotion itself and process through what's there. You know what I mean? So it's
Mm.
like, if you've got fear, for example, like you can peel off a few layers and get fear of like being in a relationship, or fear of making money, or fear of whatever else it is. But it's kind of like you're going right down to the core of that thing, of when
Mm.
you first experienced fear, and the three prominent emotions that were suppressed on top of or underneath that fear, that stops you from actually feeling fear fully and being able to process it, and not getting stuck in it, and like, or paralyzed and being like, oh fuck, I'm feeling fear, I can't do anything. You know what I mean? It's just
Yeah.
like, okay, it's here. I can feel it, I can move through it, and now I can go get shit done. Or love, for example, it's kind of like the instinctual thing comes up again with our body. It's like, oh, this person is really really amazing, and they're, they're like no one I've ever experienced before. But oh shit, hang on, no, that's a bit too much. I'm just gonna like not text him for a few days, or like
Yeah.
well, whatever the story is,
Mm.
um but yeah, just really just allowing ourselves to feel our emotions, really, at the core of it. And I've said this so many times. I wish if I had a megaphone, or like a post to that 8 billion people saw, be like, just feel your emotions, and everything in your life will change.
It's so true, man. It's so true. And like that's something I like to talk about as well. It's like, creating emotional freedom is actually just feeling into your emotions and allowing the process through. And then you're less likely to have shadow parts of yourself show up as well in situations, because you haven't tried to suppress that emotions. You've dealt with it in the moment they've come up. And what was a really funny scientific study is that emotions only last 90 seconds in the body, but it's the thought process that continues it playing on and on and on. Mm.
Yeah, yeah, I hear that, bro, and that's, I guess, that's where the mindset piece, and that's where I really get triggered. Not so much triggered, but I'm just like seeing people in the mindset realm. This is nothing against mindset either, because it's a beautiful tool, and having a strong mindset and the ability to control your emotions is can be a good thing from where you were before, whether it's depression, or like deep anxiety, or you know being controlled by our emotions, opposed to then controlling our emotions.
Mm.
But even in the mindset and the controlling of the emotions is still just a band-aid.
Mm.
It's not actually getting to the core of why we need mindset in the first place.
I 100% agree with that, man. That's because something I, call myself as a mindset coach, and I sat back with it. I'm like, is it really mindset? Because it's a body that tells the mind what to think.
Hmm.
I'm like, mindset's probably this, the small part of it. And that's why I'm like, hey, it's probably something else bigger than mindset. And And that's why I've kind of like taken that a label away a little bit from myself as well, because it's like, no, I'm teaching people to feel emotions
Yes.
and create emotional feelings, so then they can change their mindset. And it's not until you feel your emotions you can't change your mindset.
100%. Yeah, man. And to add to that, it's like emotions come up, and then the mindset is like, okay, I'm just gonna trick myself out of it.
Mm,
I'm gonna mindset my way out of feeling this emotion. But then what happens is it just it takes so much mental energy. Like when this emotion comes up every single time, it's like, oh, okay, I'm gonna switch that, or I'm gonna change my beliefs, or I'm gonna focus on what I want rather than feeling this emotion.
and it's so funny with that too, because that emotion comes up, because like emotions are like water. The more you push it down, the harder it likes to push up.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah, it's just like and they keep trying to find a bigger lid, and I'm like, dude, it's just not gonna work.
Yeah, 100%, man. 100%. Um, so yeah, I think that's going to be more of what I bring forward, and
Mm,
I'm aware that it's going to trigger people, but I'm
mm,
okay with that.
mm,
It's just yeah, I like people just need to feel and be okay with feeling their emotions, whether that's a day or 2 weeks, like I did, about a few days ago. You know what I mean? It's just
mm,
like this is here, and I get to just be in it, and that's okay. However long it takes, and like you
mm,
said before, it's like that level of presence or willingness to be with yourself. It actually moves through your body quicker than you think.
mm. Yeah. And it's also like finding, like, this is like very hard for a lot of people to comprehend. It's finding joy in those moments too, because as a human being, you get to experience that stuff, because then, the highs feel even better. And going to the lows, it's like, okay, this is cool. I get to feel these emotions. How cool is it to be human and experience this stuff?
Yeah, I hear you. That's easier said than done.
100%, man. Because when you're going through it and you're like, why the fuck? Yeah.
So interesting you say that, actually, because I'm going back through the spiral again at the moment, and I'm at level 7, which is joy,
Mm,
peace, joy, enlightenment, and purpose. And yeah, I'd been traveling that piece myself. I was like, how can I just fucking love myself? And I've been working on this for like the last few months, which is uh, this definition of humility that I've embodied and continued to, is like the passionate desire to feel all of your emotions.
mm,
And I do have that, but it's even in the experience that I've had the other day, it's like we're always feeling, we're always going into it, we're always leaning into it, and it gets to those points where you're like, I'm fucking done with leaning into it right now. Like, I don't want to do this. And then realizing, well, the only way that I'm going to get through this is leaning in again.
mm.
And so it's just like being okay to be in your shit and love it.
It's just like loving that shit and turning it to gold, whatever you want to turn it into. Because it's like, what's the saying? It's like with like, gardening and that, it's like, you use fertilizer, which is shit. If you love it, nurture it, it turns to a plant, a golden, plant kind of thing.
Yeah. Yeah, man. 100%. I just had this visual of like spray painting a turd gold.
That just popped in my head too then.
I love my shit.
That's actually a pretty cool painting. Just up on the wall, nice golden shit, and there's just like a I love my shit.
And it makes me human, and you
Mm.
know, a turd is also like the perfect representation that I'm human. Everyone shits. I just love mine, and that's okay.
100%, man.
Hmm.
But yeah, before I wrap it up on this last question, man, what are this, I guess, some pointers for today to help people to feel into their emotions and that? So like maybe like 3 pointers just so they can go away with something.
Sure. Okay. Yeah, it feels like it's kind of turning into like a little meditation in a way.
Yeah, that's
It's
the way I'm
almost,
feeling too.
yeah, that's the best way to kind of to digest it. It's like, oh, you could do this, this, and that, but it, you know, unless you're guided through it, you won't be able to understand and experience it. Um, so yeah, just a really simple practice. You can just, you know, close down your eyes and literally, you know, just focus your awareness on your body and like ask yourself, what am I feeling right now? And you know, not judging what's there, whether it's a feeling of anxiety, whether it's like tension uh, or pains, because all pains as well are, what's the word I'm looking for, caused by emotions as well. And so really it's just closing down, slowing down, tuning in with your breath, and just taking a few breaths and just breathing in slowly into your body. And taking another breath in. And with sound, and literally just taking another one last deep breath and just sighing out any tension or pain or resistance in your body just through your breath.
Mm,
And it's as simple as that, really. But then, you know, to go on a deeper level, it's just asking yourself, okay, what am I feeling today? Oh, it's shame, or I'm feeling anxious, or I'm feeling guilt or anger, or whatever it is. And then it's like, okay, where is this in my body?
mm,
And then, okay, well, it's coming up in my back or in my neck or in my throat. Something I didn't say, and I'm angry that I didn't say it. And then it literally, you can take 22 breaths. So
mm,
literally, you're breathing, finding those spaces of tension in your body or resistance or where the emotion is in your body, and then breathe into it, like bringing conscious breath literally into that space, into your throat. And just starting to make the sound of the emotion. That's another important thing to do as well. Like some people have trouble to access their emotion, but something that's really powerful is to make the sound of the emotion and not get it in your head about it, but just be like, okay, if I'm going to sound through grief, if I'm feeling grief, for example, it might sound like, or if I'm angry, I'll breathe and be like, or if I'm anxious, and literally, like,
mm,
if we go back to the scale of consciousness again, each different emotion has a different frequency, and frequency is sound,
mm,
right? And so if we can just ask ourselves, okay, what am I feeling? Where is it in my body? breathe into it, and what does it sound like, and just trust your body to make that sound, and just keep breathing. Then you just fucking go,
Yes.
and it'll just come, and that's great practice just there.
Mm.
Simple, easy, 3 steps. What am I feeling? Where am I feeling it in my body? And what's the sound I need to make to feel that emotion? And using your breath, sound, movement, stretching. And it really just comes down to body awareness. And asking your body, like, what does my body need? What have I avoided feeling? What does my body need to feel right now?
Mm.
And then you'll probably notice, oh shit, there's something in my neck. Oh shit. Oh, what's that?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And
Mm.
that's what kinesiology is based on. And muscle testing is based on, is like the body. And
Mm.
it's a map to a map or a guidance system to read the body more effectively. So,
Yeah, I love that, man. The simplicity of it. It's something I even do myself on a daily basis as well. Just sit in. It's like, what am I feeling today? And it's like even what I need at times as well. And, just sitting, breathing into that emotion, feeling into it, and just bringing awareness to it. And then also making sound as well, which I actually quite enjoy doing now.
yeah,
And,
epic, man.
mm,
It's powerful stuff. Like you
mm,
don't need to be a master emotional coach to be able to do this. Like
mm,
everyone can do this if they have the willingness to feel and create a new life and have more energy. Feel more love. Feel more confident. Feel whatever they want to feel that they haven't been able to feel because they're not feeling.
mm. 100%, man. I love that. I really do.
Awesome.
But yeah, man, wrap it up on this question. What is the legacy you want to create?
1,000,000 integrated men
Mm,
that are connected to their emotions, connected to their sexuality, to money, to making impact, to being present men, to being present fathers. And the question that like is facilitating everything that I do for myself right now is like, for me now as a father, it's how can I be a present, integrated, loving father and lover, as well as being a visionary leader of the planet,
mm,
and to bring it back to the simplicity of that, it's just getting people to feel their emotions. Really, of course, there's 2 ways to look at it. I received in a podcast with Daniel Cumming and Dane Thomas that I listened to yesterday, and it's like there's 2 ways we can look at personal development or self-development and how we want to improve ourselves. Is like, either is it a block, or is it emotional conditioning that I need to clear, or is it a skill or something I need to cultivate to be able to do that thing?
mm.
So
That's a big thing.
yeah. Did that answer your question?
Yeah, it did, man. Perfectly, bro. Like, yeah, I love it, man. It's really feeling into it. We do need it more than ever. That kind of work, just especially men feeling into their emotions. That's something I see on a daily basis with being a barber, is that a lot of men just don't. It's just, the numbness, I'm good, and that's it. And how can we be role models to the next generation when we can't even show up for ourselves or feel our emotions, and be the inspiring leaders that we want to be, because otherwise we're doing it out of fear. and suppression, and that, and when we feel into it, we can feel into our heart space and be heartfelt leaders.
Mhm. Yeah,
Mm,
100%, man.
mm,
And I guess, you know, that to go back into like the men's work piece and like the men feeling their emotions, and you know, a big legacy piece for me right now is like, look at the state of the world,
mm,
you know, and you know, a big the cause, and if we go back to the law of attraction as well, and what's happening, let's say with like the government and the elite and control, corruption, like this power over, or like this taking over energy, is all related to and is being recreated. Like the world we're living in is being recreated by the emotions that mostly men, but also like the relationship to the masculine energy, like the dark, I guess you could say the dark masculine energy, which seeks to control, that wants to take over, that wants to dominate, that wants to, um, that doesn't give a fuck about femininity or the earth or whatever that is. But a big piece of that on a global level, what's recreating and continuing to recreate this happening is people not wanting to feel their emotions around their dad and the relationship that they've had with their dads generationally,
mm.
you know, all the way back to when all this fucking shit began.
Mm,
You know, and you know, that's really my point of focus right now, because I feel on a causal level that is what's happening. That's why the world is the way it is. And I feel why so many men who are coaches and leaders right now who weren't doing men's work are being called to it
mhm,
in a big way. And yeah, that's just the work that I'm committed to. And now being a dad myself, you know, it's just kind of, it's taking it to a whole new level, because
mm,
I can't help but deal with my dad shit
mm,
or anything that I haven't dealt with, because I am one now, and I don't want that to be in my daughter, you know, and I want that to be a reality for so many men out there, and you know, creating present fathers,
mm,
you know, like the life that I'm living now with my baby and my partner. Like I've only had one day because I had to be helping my family with the funeral away from Willow since her birth. Like I've been there for almost every single moment, and a lot of men don't get to experience that. And to a degree, I feel that's how the world's ended up the way that
mhm.
it has.
I do agree with that 100%. Actually, probably 200% even further. That is so true.
Mm,
And that, because it's like we get, even with I guess, females as well, like parents get taken away from the children so early to go back to work, can't spend as much time with them, especially for the first 7 years, which is the foundational points
yeah,
of anyone's life.
100%, man.
Mm,
And yeah, it's not just present fathers; it's
mm,
present mothers too.
mm.
It's um, yeah, little plug. I'm starting a podcast as well called Guardians of Evolution,
Yeah.
right? And you know, that's what all of what I've just shared.
Mm,
That's what I'm bringing forth, like how to be a present, integrated parent as well as a visionary leader of this planet. Um, so that excites me.
I'm feeling excited now. Yeah, I feel excited too. I've even got like a bit of goosebumps and that. But yeah, man, gonna have to say a big thank you for coming on as well. Resonated a lot with what you said, and a big thank you to what you're doing to help this world as well. like I don't think words can explain the gratitude I have towards that in any other way, because it is a huge part. I see it too, and I'm glad I'm not the only one that sees it in that way. So massive thank you, man, and thanks for coming on too.
Thank you so much, bro. Thank you for having me. And yeah, thank you for any of the listeners who stayed with us and yeah, just received this. Yeah, really appreciate it, and I hope you took something from it.
It's definitely a lot of juicy bits, but thanks again, man.
No worries.
Cheers for tuning in today's podcast today, guys. If you think anyone would get any value from it, share with a friend or a family member or anything like that. Let us know what you think in the comment section below or through social media or anything like that. Also too, now that I'm now qualified to do access bars and Reiki, so if you're up on the sunny coast, feel free to reach out for a session. I'll have all this stuff linked up on my website shortly, and yeah, but other than that, hope you enjoyed today's episode, and cheers for all the support.